Welcome to The Secret Life of Therapist. I'm your host, Dr. Habiba Zaman, and I have Jennifer Hawkins here with me, who's a licensed therapist. And we're going to talk to you about life and relationships and parenting and love, maybe sex, maybe. I don't know. We will see how this conversation goes. So, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
All right. So, you are, you know, you're already where I'm about to be in 6 months. Baby's off to
Oh, yeah. Yes. Baby's
college. Most people would say hurrah or huzzah.
off. Yeah.
Right? A lot of parents look forward to that and then they're excited and they're happy and they're like, yes, I'm done. I haven't gotten to that point. I'm still just like, I can't believe he's 17. I
Yeah,
can't believe I have a 17-year-old.
right.
But you have two babies in college now.
I know.
And she just left, right?
She did.
Yep.
So I guess she's just starting her second semester.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she's not even far away. She still comes home every third week to do her laundry.
Right.
And but it's a mixed bag, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
you're excited. I mean, you know, I adore both of my children. You know, there are things that you look forward to, my I love my daughter, but she sort of takes after me in that she walks through a room,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't even have to touch anything, and all of a sudden it looks like a tornado walked through. So there's that, of like, maybe, a little less work, but I think you kind of lean into that stuff to kind of compensate for the loss that you feel, because there is a loss.
That's what I wanted to talk about. It's just as a mom,
Yeah.
right? And this is something I can say most women go through.
Hmm.
When I became a mom, that was such a big part of my identity. And even now, it's such a defining part of my existence. My books are written about motherhood, or about identity and losing it and finding it and
Yeah.
building it and all of that. I can't I feel like each transition of their development was a
Hmm.
transition in my development as well
Oh,
as a mom
absolutely. Oh,
and as a woman.
absolutely. My favorite saying, and there's nothing more true than this statement, at least for me. I was the perfect parent until I had kids. And that is the absolute truth. I mean, you go into it with, these ideals, and, I'm going to grow all of the food in my garden organically and crush it with a pestle and mortar, and and my kids will never have sugar, and they'll never have screen time, and I'm gonna gone, 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 violated, history, and then real life sets in. Like,
Right.
okay, week two after crushing, various, beets, squash, and greens, you're like,
Did you try to?
oh, I totally did.
You did?
2 weeks. I got 2 weeks in and no sleep during that period. So,
Right.
I'm thinking, this or just buy organic when I can and sleep. So I opted for the sleep thing.
Right. No, I didn't. My children, neither one of them slept through the night. My eldest didn't sleep through the night for 18 months. And I know that that's exactly what it was because I was like, he's asleep. He slept through the night. Wait, is he alive? Is he okay? Right? Like that was my first thing. I was like,
Sure.
shit, is he alive? Because 18 months there was no sleeping through the night.
Uh,
And I was in school then. So I was just
I cannot
neurotic.
imagine. I remember Gavin's first birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the first birthday isn't about the kid. There's the smash cake and, that kind of thing, which is fun to watch and take those pictures. But, the first kid is, look, we kept him alive for a year. I actually said that to Brian. I think we high fived on it. We did it. We were like so proud of ourselves.
Right.
Like, yay. Yeah, it was clearly a victory for us, his
Yeah.
first birthday, and each birthday was a victory, and until they start getting opinions around 4 and they want to do stupid Chuck E. Cheese. I was so sick of that mouse by the time the kids were done with that period.
Did you do the bouncy houses?
Yeah, well, they were coming out towards when Sophie was at that age. When Gavin was younger, there weren't as many. You had to go to, like far off places, like Johns Creek.
I did that.
Did you?
I would drive. I would drive an hour,
Yeah.
just so they could have an hour
Hmm.
of tearing up the ball pit or this or that or whatever. And yes, to all of the other, playground areas, as disgusting as it was,
Yeah.
I would do the drive
Oh,
because
yeah.
that was reprieve.
Yes.
Where I didn't feel guilty.
You want to exhaust them, whatever means
But not
necessary,
just that, I
so they
wanted
could
to
take
not
it.
feel guilty,
Oh,
right? They were
yeah.
so preoccupied with that. They were so excited. They were so happy. And yes, I would go all over the state to find new
Yeah.
ones. And I was just like, okay, I can just sit here and watch you
Huh.
and have my coffee before it goes completely cold, which now I just drink cold coffee because it's a habit.
Just reminded me of coffee. Yeah.
But and because I carried that like mom guilt so much. If I wasn't doing this, then I'm a failure. If I wasn't that, then I'm a failure. If this and that and that. Did that ever go away? It hasn't for me.
No, no. I still, I have, gosh, I have so many examples, that I'll sit with sometimes, and oh yeah, mom of the year, 20, you know, 2010 when I did this, or that sort of thing. When I forgot to pack his lunch and he was too shy to, go up to the, lunch counter, and mommy, I didn't. I'm like, oh,
Right.
I mean, I mean, tears thinking of it right now.
Right.
Right.
I don't think we as mothers ever outgrow any of it.
No.
Right?
No.
It's like branded into me, I feel like.
Totally. My most recent one is my son is excuse me. He's at he's in Augusta, studying biology. He wants to segue into the medicine, medical field. And the one summer that I had to take him on his big trip, like his graduation trip, right? I wanted to take him to wherever it is he wanted to go at the time. And I missed it. And I figured next summer, right? My son has been working in a lab.
Yeah.
And he cannot leave his little petri dishes for more than 3 days at a time. So we're, at this point, he's like, Mom, after I take the MCAT,
then you
when's that? In another year and a half. Well, at this point, it's only 6 more months, but I feel like, oh my gosh, I took it for granted that I had that time with him, that I would be able to just whisk him off, for a family vacation. Having said that, luckily, I don't know if he's working on different petri dishes, proteins, or in a different lab or what have you. But his stuff is so above my pay grade. I did get him for like 1 whole week in Florida over the New Year, so I feel very good. I mean, I'm every other day. Thank you so much again. I was just so grateful.
Right.
So, and and Sophie, like I said, it's a mixed bag. It's like you're happy for them. They've done what you wanted.
Right. Right.
And then there's this wah wah when they're gone. And
have you been able to recalibrate your life?
I don't know that it's a complete recalibration as much as I've been able to shift and move. So because I was always so busy and a mom, busy with work and a mom, which led to a lot of my guilt. you know, because I feel like I'm having to make time for my kids,
Right.
you know, like very intentionally, which I always felt guilty about that. Um, and now it's just more of a shift of, okay, they were the priority,
Right.
absolutely. And they still are my priority, but they don't need me as much. So
Not
now
on a
I
daily
can
basis.
kind of shift. So, but Sophie was a hard one because she was my second,
Mhm.
my last. She was my baby.
Yeah.
And this is someone who is you know, she didn't like to be away from home, you
Mhm.
know, a whole lot. You know, she enjoys being home. She enjoys being with her pets. Speaking of which, I'm now left with two cats, a bird, and a bunny.
Mm.
So
Mm-mm.
be careful about what you commit to.
Mm-mm.
Just saying. And know the lifespan. Just do the math. Yeah, so now I'm taking care of BB the bird, Bun Bun,
Uh-huh.
the bunny. Uh, yeah, Misty and Snow. They're not as bad. However, Misty is looking to be rehomed. So if you know anyone that would like a tuxedo cat that hates all other cats and wants to be an only child, yeah. So
Oh. Oh.
so but so I was thinking, um, so what I did was to help my grieving, you know, of Sophie going off to college. Um, I do have a little bit of a creative side that
Yes.
I can, you know, sort of vent through. So how good is your editing? If I do this, can you put a picture here? No.
I don't know.
So this this is
Oh,
what
how
I did
pretty.
to not obsess about my daughter leaving.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
pretty.
very counterintuitive. So there's a
Oh,
picture of
that's
her
so pretty.
from,
Yeah.
when she went to prom. Yeah, so I worked on this for months, and I will say it worked. Um, I missed her less when I was completely done with this because I'm
Well,
like,
these are all the things that represent her.
yeah, yeah, just
That's beautiful.
yeah, glitter,
Has she
flowers.
seen it yet?
She has. And the
Okay.
funny thing is I made it for her. Like, look what I did for you. But, you know, she's like, Mom, why would I want a picture of me? I mean, like that.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah. She
you
sounds like
know,
my son.
yeah. Like, but I'm like, what? So now I'm hanging it on the wall.
Yeah.
And now I have to do one for Gavin because there's a picture of, got to
Right.
keep it even. Got to keep it even.
But hey, you got through it.
I did.
I
I
was
did.
one of those. I'm going to take all the little scraps of their baby outfits and then
Uh-huh.
make a quilt.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Where
There
are all
is
the
no quilt.
scraps?
The scraps eventually went bye too.
Oh, they
Because
did.
I was just like, I can't do this.
Honestly, good for you. That's the hardest thing is getting rid of the things that bring us so many memories. But you know, it's again a mixed bag because some of these things you need to look at and think, yeah, I'm thinking of this this time period when they did this. And you really need to consider, does it bring me more sadness than joy when I see this?
Right.
You know, I mean, you know, there you know, some things that it's okay to let go of because
Mhm.
every time you see it, it kind of pulls you down. It
Right.
pulls you in. And I've got a huge bin for each one of them. So
Yeah.
I've not been able to go through the bin yet. So good for you for
I mean, they
kind of
still
getting
have
rid.
their stuffed animals,
Okay.
right? The ones that they had when they were infants, but they
Right.
choose to keep them,
Right.
which I love. That, or maybe they're like, she might cry if we get rid of this. I don't know, but they haven't gotten rid of it. They took it when I got divorced. They would take it to my ex's house.
Okay.
So it was a security blanket type
Sure.
attachment object for them,
Yeah.
and they have that. But I am completely neurotic when it comes to my photo albums. Like none of
Like actual photo
actual
albums?
photo albums.
I'm so impressed.
And
Again, how do you have the time?
I don't. Uh, so, and they're chronologically, yeah, I know, because I'm OCD friends. Yes. So I had to redo it, 3/4 of an entire book because as we were putting it in, two of the pages had stuck together. Yes, and we can't have that. And I didn't have enough pictures to just
Sorry, my
reprint.
face. I'm doing that
So
out
I put
loud.
them
I
all.
apologize.
There's like music playing in the background. I'm like, this is what I'm doing with my life right now, and just read because that's what I do. For
Yeah.
me, it's the physical, watching them grow. I need it to be chronological so you can see each stage of
Yeah.
development. Um, and mine.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
going back to that identity piece,
Mm.
I wish I appreciated so much of what I looked like 17 years ago that I'm like, really? You didn't appreciate that? Come on
Okay, you're going to say the same thing about this moment. Just
now.
remember
100%.
that.
Yes, 100%. Which is
You're
why,
gorgeous.
and you've seen my Instagram, right? Like none of it is posed. None of
Actually, I
it.
haven't.
You haven't?
Oh my gosh. No, I'm
You're on my
not.
Facebook then.
Yes.
Okay. The
Okay.
same pictures.
Okay. Yeah.
It just feeds
Yeah.
one to the other. But I
No,
have
no.
the
And I love
most.
that. It's real.
I have
Yeah.
the unkempt hair, no makeup, nightgown, cats, kids, all the crazies. But that's important to me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, kind of, this is an extension of that. It's like
Right,
insight
right.
into your life
What it looks
and
like.
you're
Yeah.
bringing people in. And I think that's great.
And there's a reason for it. I grew up in a culture. It's my culture. It is what it is. Everyone who has grown up within my culture, I'm Bangladeshi American, so South Asian culture is who do you represent, right? So every time I would leave the house, even to go to the grocery store with my parents, my dad made it a point to be like, remember who you represent. So I'm an extension and reflection of him and their family and their respect and their honor, right? Do you remember?
So
Did you
different.
watch
Yeah.
Mulan?
Gosh, no, I haven't.
You
I haven't
haven't?
seen a kids movie in
Okay, so
forever.
my sister used
That
to
was one of
love
my
that.
movies I want to see.
My sister loved that movie, the cartoon version, not the live action one. And we have this inside joke that we still do, just on your cow, on your entire,
Oh my gosh.
like all of that, because
Yes.
that's what we feared. That was the
Yeah.
biggest fear: is how are we going to be perceived, and how are people going to judge us, right?
Yeah.
And there's so much judgment within the group,
Yes.
way worse
Yeah.
than anybody really gives a fuck on the outside.
Yeah.
And growing up in that way, I couldn't forge my own identity,
I could see that.
even though I'm 100% the black sheep of the family. Everyone would be like, are you sure that you don't have your own identity? And the didn't then. But whatever demonstrations of rebelliousness that I had, right,
Yeah.
to be who I was and do what I wanted or speak up and be an advocate, is so extreme because in my culture it's expected to not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my dad will tell you, of course you did. You've been doing this since you were a kid. You've been, telling me to go somewhere since you were 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Because he would come to Bangladesh to visit. And at that time he could only come once a year. It's so expensive to go. It's like a 2-day flight over there.
Wow.
And my grandparents were raising me because my dad was a student and he was a single parent, and there was only so much of the 3 men and a little baby that they gave. So 2 of my godfathers and my dad were trying to raise me when I was 2, alone while going to school full time. Right?
You might have another show to pitch because I could see that one.
So they were hands on, the parents, the 3 of them, right? And for a
My
minute,
3 dads.
right? For a minute they tried, but again, I was 2, right?
Yeah.
And finally, my grandparents were like, let us take care of her. We can give her a home, a family, because my other uncles live there with their wives and their kids. So my dad sent me to Bangladesh and I was there until I was 8 years old. So in my dad's head, right, he's like, that's the best thing that she can have. She has a family, she has siblings, she
Right.
has, even though they're not my siblings, they're my cousins, but I
Yeah.
call them brothers and sisters, and they call me the same. let's take the abandonment
Right.
and
All that
crisis and
stuff.
bond break and all of that
Yeah.
out of
Right.
that.
Minus all the trauma
minus
stuff.
all the trauma.
That was awesome. Yeah.
That was his intent, and his
Sure.
intent made sense, right?
It does.
And so I grew up, and then whenever he would come, and then he would spend time with me and talk to me and love me and all the things, and then he's like, okay, well, when you go to bed, I'm going out to meet my friends. Yeah, excuse you. How dare you reject me like this, right? And I would leave the house guarded with the gate, can't do it, and go buy ice cream off the street that I was forbidden to do. I would literally do the thing that I knew I wasn't supposed to do in
Take
defiance.
that, Dad.
Right?
Ice cream sandwich.
And even still, I call him, which is hella disrespectful, and my kids know it, and we all talk about that this is not something that's acceptable, and I do it anyways, and my dad lets me. I call him by his first name. Like, I call him by his nickname that his friends call him by.
Ah.
Oh, you don't do that? You don't do that to your elders in an Asian household? Oh my God, no.
But you do.
But I do. So I'll answer the phone and be like, hey, Tante Mia, how's it going? What you up to? And he's just like, child.
So do you do it to, like, get his goat? Or
Yes,
you, okay.
100%.
So you do sometimes call him Dad.
Oh, I call him Dad all the time.
Okay.
Right?
So
it's
you
just
don't
when
solely...
I answer the phone or
Okay,
things
got it.
that.
Yeah.
We've had this, and that's what I would do when I was 5-6 years old. When he would show up, I'd be like, oh, you're Chonto uncle, right? Because everybody in the household called him uncle because he's their uncle.
Right.
I think when I was younger than that, because remember, I was sent over there when I was 2.
Right.
I did think he was my uncle.
Wow.
Because I call the other 2 uncles, who are my actual uncles. One I call Papa, and the other one I call Abu, which Abu is father.
Yeah. So all the names were taken, so he had
he was the
he
uncle.
Had to settle with...
So I think, because again, parental guilt, right?
Uh-huh.
Even though I know that for him that was the best decision.
Yeah.
Right.
It made sense.
Right. There would be love, there would be family, there
Sure.
would be all the things he's not able to provide here.
Right. However, yeah.
Right. Aside from all this stuff, I think the fact that I still call him that,
it's a little bit of
a reminder.
Yeah, totally. So,
but we have that really close relationship now. We didn't growing up, and we didn't throughout high school and even college, not even after, because as I am figuring out who I'm supposed to be, right, and I fought back on what I'm expected to be.
Yeah.
So much.
I think that's a normal transition. There's the especially in your community where conformity is it's big. To have that sort of collective
identity.
Yeah,
it's
to have
not
that
individual identity.
Exactly. So there's that conformity, and the only way to discover your true identity is to become an anti-conformist. So you give yourself space to become a non-conformist once you figure out who you are. It's a little bit of a transition.
And I say sad thing is because it took so long to learn this. They love me just as much, if not more, for being the deranged psychopath that I am.
I mean, that's fantastic.
Do you know what I mean?
No, that's wonderful.
In my work with the South Asian community now as a therapist, like, that's what I try to help instill in them. Like, they'll still love, they will accept it. They'll fight it. They'll fight you.
Sure.
But they will accept it.
That's wonderful.
Because that's going to be the true reflection of who you are.
Yeah.
Right. My dad and my connection now is so strong. We joke about very similar things. We are similar in nature. So that's hilarious.
Yeah. No butting heads there.
No
problems there.
Or, if you believe in astrology, Capricorn and Taurus. Yes, we do.
I remember, I got a little bit of that judgment that you're talking about, but it wasn't from the community. I remember, you probably were, I'm guessing when you went out into public, you were representing the family, right?
Yes.
So when I would go out when I was a teenager, if I wanted to put makeup on, I had sort of a similar but completely opposite experience with my dad.
Yeah.
Why are you putting makeup on?
Mm-hmm.
What's, the vanity. We're
Mm.
spiritual people. We don't do that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's interesting the signals that you get.
Right.
So I'm not allowed to, dress,
In a
to the
way
world
that
of
will get
form,
attention.
because
Yes.
it takes away from my core being. And
Mm-hmm.
that was a very, that was hard to
Of course.
get past, because then all of a sudden there's the shame of,
Right.
of trying,
You
just
notice
having,
having an attention, any kind of attention, even if it's just like, hey, you look
yeah,
pretty today.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
none of that.
Because
So,
it's going hand in hand with that shame
yeah,
of now you're asking for this and it's not supposed to be who you are.
right. Just
Mm.
mirrors, if there was a mirror, don't even look at it. You're better than that, or you want to be better than that,
Right.
you know. So it was
And if there's
interesting.
ever any kind of trauma, any
Uh,
kind of violence or, you know, sexual aggression, I can only imagine how impossible it would be not to blame yourself if something like that were to ever
oh,
happen.
yeah, totally. I think when you're, when that much shame is sort of, instilled, in you, in like the physical.
Yeah, that's
Um,
what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Like, why are
you
you
would
putting on makeup? And then there's a
immediately,
negative thing that happened.
right.
Oh,
Well,
it might have been because I put
yeah.
on makeup today.
And that's something that was never said, but with all those
Right,
messages that you received over the
right,
years,
right.
absolutely. So,
And that's an unfortunate common saying now, right? Like if
mhm,
there's any kind of sexual assault,
right.
then the
Where
question is,
was
what were
she?
you
How was she
wearing? Did you
dressed? Yeah.
drink? What
Hmm.
did you do
Right.
that
How did you
allowed this to
contribute?
happen?
Yeah.
Mm,
So, yeah, it's a hard thing to, really get past,
right.
that shame when you had, if you had things happen to you and you were raised with that inherent sense of shame. And it's interesting because now we're sitting here, we're both, you know, wearing makeup,
Yeah.
you know, somewhat hair done, hair looking way better. But at some point, when you find out who you are, there's sort of an integration of all parts of you.
Right.
And I think I was maybe in my 30s,
Yeah.
40s, maybe, before I was fully able to integrate with my physical self.
Yeah.
Just, at one point it was a sense of shame, it was embarrassing, so it was, it took a while for me to realize this is part of me. I shouldn't be ashamed of myself.
But you're still deflecting, right? You're still deflecting that this is me. Because even when you were describing yourself, like, here's me, and here's my hair, and here's her hair, right? It's still that needing to minimize yourself.
That's
Yeah, that's what mine looks like. Naturally,
right.
I look like an
That's
alpaca,
it.
and you
I'm
know that.
natural. Yes.
I look like an
That's what I'm
alpaca.
going
Remember
for.
that? I have the picture with the natural hair
Oh,
and then the alpaca next to it.
yeah.
I'll send it to you. It's hilarious. I'll post it because that is what Habiba looks like with her natural hair.
Oh, we need that. National Alpaca Day.
Yes.
I'm
With all
loving
the
that.
frizzy haired women,
Could we do
right?
that every day?
But that, again, it took a very long time for me to accept a compliment.
Yes.
I couldn't
Oh,
just say
yeah.
thank you, you know?
I love that shirt. Oh, this I got it at TJ Maxx for $2.99.
Okay, I still do that.
Huh?
I still do that. I still
Oh,
do
these
that.
old things? I've had these for 20 years.
It took a long time. The other day, I went to the chiropractor, and as I was opening the door, the person at Kava, there was a woman and a man standing there. They were just talking. I think maybe they were employees. I don't know. And she shouts because it was a pretty good distance, right? She shouts. She's like, "That's a really pretty dress." And I stopped
Wow,
and I
it
was
must
like,
have been fabulous.
"Thank you." $12 at Ross. But that's my point,
Yeah.
right? Like, but I'm very proud of my finds. I love looking fabulous and bougie without necessarily paying the price tag for it, even though all of my jewels are real.
Yes.
I have, whatever. But everything else is discount. I love finding that discount. I feel like that's the immigrant mentality still in me.
Well, I think it may even be more primal than that. It's a hunt.
Yes.
It is a hunt.
But again, you've been a single mom. I'm a single mom. On top of the immigrant conditioning of make sure you don't waste your money, don't be frivolous with everything, don't splurge, and definitely don't take care of yourself in that way.
It's time for that.
Right. That was ingrained in me, and all of my other friends are like, yep. The trash bag with the trash bags inside the bags that's this big in my pantry. I'm never going to use that many bags, but we can't let go of the bag.
Oh, don't come in my pantry. Do not.
Right, like that survivalist mentality is what that is. And with your background as well, your heritage, it makes sense that you also have that kind of survivalist mentality. And it's hilarious. But I stopped and paused and I was like, thank you. And that was it. Just stop at thank you. Just stop at thank you.
Had to bite your tongue, a little bit of blood, I'm sure.
Right. Like, because again, with aging, right, and perimenopause and everything else, I've lost half the volume of my hair. Half of it's completely gone. And so when people are like, oh, your hair is so pretty, again, I want to be like, but you should have seen what it used to look like, or whatever the case may be, right? Just needing to minimize and discount the positive attributes that somebody else is commenting on. Not just saying thank you. It's so hard not to just say thank you.
It is. It is. And, and sometimes it's hard to not want to get, just throwing this out there, if someone compliments you, to not like automatically compliment them back. There's also that, because you feel like, okay, I'm feeling awkward. Now it's my turn. I love your top. Oh, I love your top. You're not even wearing a top.
Right. Right. But it's not just because we're being polite or nice, even though we are. It's attached to that internal shame of, if I accept this without some pushback or saying no or denying it, then it makes me all the things that I grew up hearing I should not be.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The banter of, getting a compliment, giving a compliment, there's a little bit of a deflection going on in that, instead of absorbing it and having to sit with the fact that you just got a compliment.
Did motherhood change that?
As far as receiving compliments? It made it way worse.
Exactly.
It totally did.
It made it way worse. My experience. Yes.
Yeah, because just to let you know, Gavin was born at 32 weeks. Wait, is that right? Yeah, he was 6 weeks early. Let me do the math. Yeah, he was 30 weeks. And so he was in the NICU. So right away, I felt like, because they had to go in and do an emergency C-section, I felt like I started off wrong immediately. I immediately screwed it up. He went to ICU for 3 weeks. I remember I had a cesarean, an emergency C, and but I figured this little itty bitty baby boy, he was 4 pounds, 4 ounces, and then he dropped below 4, after all the fluids. And so he's 3 something. His skin looked like it was a size too big for his body. Like he had no fat. And I had a C-section on Wednesday. No, on Monday. And I was at work with my breast pump Wednesday, 2 days after my C-section, because I wanted to save my time for when he got home. So I would pump at work all the time. I couldn't drive for the first 3 weeks, so I would get a ride to the hospital, visit with him, drop off milk, sit in with him for a half hour till someone from work picked me up. Then I'd stay at work, not for an entire day. It was probably 4 or 5 hours.
And this is after the military,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
This
okay.
is after the Army.
Okay.
And which totally lends to that power through it, suck it up, bite the bullet, yada, yada, bootstraps, blah. So,
Yeah.
that definitely contributed. Um, then I'd pump at work, go back to the hospital, drop more milk off, visit with Gavin again, and then get a ride. And I remember the company that I worked for wasn't very, it was a privately family owned company. So it wasn't like a corporate company where they had, a milking room or lactation center or whatever. So I would go into a conference room and put meeting in process. And all of the employees, all they knew is that there were all these meetings. And so everyone was on their best behavior
Uh-huh.
because they thought all these interviews were taking place, and they're thinking, oh, who's getting fired? Who's getting it was funny. And so I'd store my stuff in the
Yeah.
refrigerator. And but I did figure out one good piece of one good tidbit. You know how everyone uses your creamer at work when you're in a corporate setting, or
Yes.
not even corporate? If you label it
Breast
breast milk, nobody will drink it. Just saying. That was the tip so they probably thought that I pumped for like 7 years until my
Hey,
son
you
was
know
7.
what? If it works. If it works.
Nobody drank my creamer.
Love it. Well, you remember, I think there's been plenty of times at the office where, you know, if somebody drank the last bit of it, they're like, shit, we need to make sure we get hers back before she gets here. Because I get 1 cup of coffee a day. And
Right.
so if that 1 cup is like, if I can't have that and I have 6 straight
Now,
hours of sessions, like, yeah, that's not nice.
honestly, as much as I would love to say, sit here and say, "Oh, we're above that. We can shift. We can move."
Oh my
If you
God.
come to work and you expect a damn cup of coffee with your creamer and you don't
That you
have
left
it,
there the day before?
I don't want to say
Yes,
your day is shot, but you know what? You got to have a moment
kind of.
before, so you can reel it back in.
And that was before DoorDash was a thing,
Uh,
right? And so I remember the interns or whoever had used the last one would panic. They'd be like, "Shit, we have to go get her coffee because you're drinking my stuff. I'm providing it." And then they'd be
right,
like, when is she coming today? When is she?"
right, yeah. Damage control. The alarm on.
And I thought that was so sweet because again, I provide the coffee and the creamer and the
Yeah,
sugars and everything just because I own the place and I'm doing something nice,
yeah.
but don't you fucking drink up the last bit of it and not
Right.
leave me some.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Nice to a point.
Right,
That definitely
right.
crosses a boundary
It
right
was
there.
it was
However,
the
now
creamer.
I will say that's no longer an issue. I mean, as long as I've been there, she buys it by the crates, and she never goes. It goes like halfway through the box, and then she buys another box. She's never without creamer. That
Right,
goes with that
right.
scarcity mentality that we talked about
Again,
earlier.
it's like the trash bags, right?
So,
Make sure you're never out of the bag
right,
when you need the bag.
right. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Like, oh, where are the cups? We have no cups, and the cups are always there. Yeah, just they're
Don't see
just
them.
they're in the
Storage
towel,
or
the paper towel box or something. They've been somebody,
condensed it. Yeah.
condensed it.
Someone is awesome and they love to like tidy up, which I appreciate very
I don't
much.
know who that is. It's not me, but thank you, whoever that is.
I clean, but I
Yeah.
don't do the tidying of the closet doors when you can close them.
Yeah, I
So,
do. I'm on spider patrol. I, if I see more than 3, I got to break out or
yeah,
if I see anything besides a spider.
right.
But yeah, 3 is my limit where I break it out and I
Yeah,
do the. Yeah, I mean,
I appreciate it.
yeah. Um, but and vacuuming when no one's there, because when I'm there,
Right,
we're there on opposite days, unfortunately.
right.
So yeah, I like the feel of it because I don't know who else is helping with the garbage and the this and the that, but
Yeah.
there's nothing that is being left undone.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
The
that's nice.
collaboration is definitely
It
there.
really is, even though it's not like an intentional thing,
Yeah.
it's like whatever needs to be done, everyone will do it. So that's
And
nice.
that's a huge value of mine. If you see that it needs to be
Yeah.
done, just do it. It
Yeah.
shouldn't have to be asked. It shouldn't have to be demanded or, expected. It's just,
Yeah.
it's there. You
Yeah.
see it, pick it up, let's go.
It's an extension of our homes, so we
Hmm.
should treat it as such. So, yeah.
I know I've become more lenient with the external environment after becoming a mom, especially after becoming a single mom, because having to work full time, being a mom full time, because I was the primary caregiver,
Hmm.
and building the business and doing all these things, something had to give. I kept hitting the brick wall, I don't know how many
Oh,
times,
yeah.
um, and then not asking for help.
Yeah.
Right. But I think that's also part of that blueprint of mine, right? Growing up, having to figure things out for myself, feeling that I don't have anyone to rely on. There's not anyone there to catch me if I fall.
Hmm.
That carries through subconsciously, not in the big things,
Yeah.
but in the small things of carrying 5 different boxes that are bigger than my body, trying to get those up the stairs
Yeah.
in one go.
And then somebody asking, "Do you need help?" No,
I
I'm
got it. I
fine.
got it. I'm almost there.
No, I have no idea what that's like. Yeah. And something like tumbles down. No, no, I got that.
And then, you know, being able to, I don't know how many times, and not in a negative criticism, I don't mean that it's a negative criticism, but so many of my colleagues are like, just say help. And in my head, my immediate thing is, if I needed it, I would ask. But my definition of I need the help is ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. That's why. Yeah, that's why I help and I don't even ask anymore. That's kind of where I'm at.
Right.
I'm not going to ask you because you're going to say the
Right.
wrong thing. You're just going to give the wrong answer. I know that because your threshold is way higher than
Right.
it needs to be.
And that's the way I
Especially when you
felt
were
about
standing on that ladder. Okay. What was that? Were you
it was
painting
not a
or
ladder.
I don't know. In my
I was
head,
painting,
she
yes.
was standing on a ladder that was balanced on top of a trash can that was on a chair.
Yes.
In my head, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And she was standing on one toe,
And then the other leg was on the wall.
Oh, that's right. And
to paint the top of the
can
ceiling.
I help
Yes.
you? No, I'm good. No, you're a liability. I'm going to hold this for you.
How tall are you?
5'6".
Okay, I'm 5, almost 3. So yes, just the extra 3.5 inches would have probably been helpful.
So I held the trash can, that held the chair, that held the
Yes.
ladder, that held the. I at least was able to.
It was not a chair. It was a stool. And
I don't know.
The
Whatever
paint
it
can
was,
on top
it
of
was
that.
dangerous and precarious.
Oh, yes, the paint can was on top of that. Oh my God.
Do you
I'm
need
crying.
help? No. Okay, you know what? Now you need help in 2 ways.
But again, and I've had this where my partner has said this to me. He was like, "You seem like you enjoy being in control," and I had to look at him side-eyed and be like,
I have to be.
I have no other choice. Right? Because I haven't had that. I've never felt safe to ask for help because the help as a child, if I asked for it, then I was weak, incompetent, all of these messages, not intentionally, but that is what was conveyed. There was always a consequence of, why did you do it this way? You could have done it this way. Why did right? So it was just easier to not ask for help.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you have trauma that you add to it. And then if you try to ask for help when there's been trauma, and then the message is, what did you do to deserve this?
Yeah.
Then you sure as hell, after that, I'm not going to ask you or anybody else or reveal anything in that capacity of vulnerability ever again.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you
and
get that.
Then marriage. Yeah. Right? First marriage, which is like my textbook blueprint of how I teach all of my clients of what not to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even my kids were like, I don't understand why you let this and this and this. And I'm just like, and I use that again as teaching moments now that my kids are older.
Sure.
That this is why I allowed this. This is why it was difficult to step away from it. All I could do is set boundaries and fight back.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't up and just leave because of the kids, of this, of stability of culture, of
Hmm.
expectation. And then again, the same message of there's going to be no one there to
Yeah.
catch me. And I have two little babies
Yeah.
who are going to be impacted based on my decision. So if there's no one to catch me, I can't let them fall,
Of course. Yeah.
right? For a choice that I'm making. And so all of those things is why I'm on a paint can with the stool on top of it. Like it's just
On the trash can.
on the trash can. I think
on,
the trash can was
on
on
a
the bottom.
broom.
I did use the end of the broom to try to reach the other top.
Oh, is that? I knew there was a broom there
There
somewhere.
was. I unscrewed the broom
Yeah.
head and put the thing with the paint, whatever, the paint roller. I'm in ingenuity's in there. Okay, I've had to become creative.
Dangerous. Danger.
To make things happen. But again, I don't enjoy that.
No,
That's
I get it.
not. And I looked at my partner. I was just like, "Are you fucking insane? Like, no. It's not that I do this and I do this and I plan this and I plan this because I enjoy it. It's because who else is going to? If
Right.
you're not going to step up and do it on your own and take the initiative,
Yeah.
it still needs to get done. So it gets done.
Yeah.
That is something that I've had to learn to communicate and also relinquish in order for my partner to step up and be a partner.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was very hard.
And that can be difficult because we know that hyper independence generally is a sign of past traumas.
Yes.
Because
You
trust
don't know anything
and
about that, do you?
huh?
You know nothing about
God,
that.
no. It was chapter 3 in the book in a class a while back. So
Right. No personal experience.
Yeah, no. I've been on my fair share of trash cans, chairs, and ladders. But it's interesting when you are in this place of just being so hyper, independent, and hyper is bad. We know that it's not good. It's a reflection of things that you've been through and how you perceive the world even now. That nobody can be trusted to do this. I need to do this. And but then as you start growing and healing and expecting more and hoping for more out of your partner, either you've chosen, like a partner, who you're changing the contract basically midterm.
Right.
Of like, yeah, you know what? I didn't need these things from you. Now I need these things from you. And, the question is can that person then show up into that role?
Right.
So, there's that question. And if they do, is it going to be begrudgingly, or are they going to revert to like their child self? Yeah. So, it's kind of sticky. I see that with my clients all the time.
What about for you when you were dating after you were divorced and things like that? Was that challenging?
Oh, yeah.
Someone?
Totally. Well, I dated someone. Mistake. Learning experience, opportunity of growth. I dated someone that I knew from like way, like 20 years ago, someone that was like a friend.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was a therapist, and he didn't go through the vetting process that I would put someone through.
Was already established.
He was grandfathered in.
Right.
So I didn't put him through that process. And the next thing I know, I don't want to throw around, terms, but next thing I know, I'm in a relationship with someone who I would not have otherwise been in a relationship with, because he wasn't vetted the proper way, because he was grandfathered in, and I've known him forever, and so
see, and that's why we're doing this show, because my clients know better. But other people, social perception is that we have it together because we've studied this. I can't even say it without laughing. That we're the experts in this field. We know how to recognize and pinpoint these red flags so we don't get in bed with them. Yeah, but hello, right?
proverbially.
Look at my track record. And sometimes, and you've heard me laugh about this too, or just angrily sometimes, and I'm just like, I have a fucking PhD in this. How am I here? How am I here again?
So yeah, it's interesting because you have the skills. We both have the skills. I mean, someone
And
walks
yet,
in and we can sniff the problem immediately. I mean, however,
and yet,
putting those same, vetting those same steps in our
right.
own lives, it doesn't always go that way because you don't want to be in work mode. And that kind of leaves some gaps
That,
sometimes.
and then I know a big part of my growth in dating, and again, based on my blueprint, because of what happened, it is textbook that I ended up with the type of people that I ended up with. Even knowing this, I struggled with my own codependency where I needed the grace and time to learn and unlearn all of my nonsense. Let me allow you the time to do so as well.
Yes.
But hello, oh my goodness. No, no, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. The same thing with friendships, right? I have friendships where they're clearly not showing up for me the way I show up for them.
Sure.
They don't reflect or mirror my values, right?
Yeah.
In what a friendship is and what it means to be my friend because of the way I show up for my friendship.
Yes.
And yet I keep accepting their reality over my own. And what I learned, unfortunately, recently, and I say unfortunately because I'm in my 40s, and with degrees, 2 degrees in this field. And it finally got to a point where I realized that the underlying tertiary reasoning behind that is because I have never been allowed to speak my truth.
Yeah.
That this is my perception, this is my reality, and this is why. And so when someone else is giving me a justification for their shitty behavior, I struggled with saying, no, that doesn't work. Because then I would be discounting their reality and their truth. And
right.
I don't want that for anyone else because it's horrible what I've had to endure.
Yeah.
But then, welcome narcissists, a string of them.
Yes.
Right. And some of them were just a sprinkling of the tendencies.
And that's the word I didn't want to say.
Oh, please. Oh, please. But then, but that's what you just attract, right? Because we are willing to justify,
give allowances,
rearrange,
understand.
Yes, I mean, just the.
But what he's been through.
I can't even roll my eyes.
I know.
Far enough.
Yeah, I know. You and me both. The sync eye rolling.
But that was why. I can't tell you that when you come back and you're like, I'm so sorry, that's so hurtful. But the reason I pull away is because I feel so deeply for you. And I didn't know what to do with that deep emotion. And so I shut down and I pull away and reject you. I'm like, I can understand that. Because I can. But the part that no one ever taught me, which I teach my children vehemently, as well as my clients, that can be the reasoning, and that's okay. That can be your reason. It still doesn't work for me.
Right. Here's the thing. If it keeps happening, then it's a problem.
People ask me how many chances. Mine is one. You give them one chance.
Yeah.
Because that one chance for that one example that I gave you.
Sure.
Right? That would have saved years of disappointment if the first time I saw that that's how they react.
Right.
Where they emotionally shut down, they pull back and act like I don't exist, which then triggers all of my abandonment issues of what did I do wrong for me to lose your love?
Yeah.
Right? And then trying
love
to
fix is conditional. Something's all wrong of with you. Yeah.
That it's okay for me to be like, I understand that, but that doesn't work for me. I don't want to be loved.
Yeah.
I don't have to wait for them to heal their shit because they may or may never.
So to understand and to allow are two different things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one chance. Because in that one chance, because I have found 10 different creative ways to explain why that was hurtful, why that doesn't make it okay, why that's damaging to me and this relationship, and how healthy love should show up instead. The next time it happens, loves, that is a fucking pattern. That is not, that's not a character flaw. That's a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because if you were to tell me, Habiba, the way you showed up, the way you came at me when I told you this,
Mhm.
it really hurt my feelings. It made me feel like asking you for anything, it makes me such a burden to you.
Yeah.
If any, my heart is heavy just listening to me say
Yeah.
that.
I'm like, yeah, no, I get it.
Right.
Like
Because if
sinking into that.
anyone said that to me, I would make,
Yeah,
if I would go to the ends of the earth to never make them feel that way again.
definitely. Yeah.
So if I am to bare my soul to this person that's supposed to care for me,
Mm.
and I say, this is why that's hurtful, this is what that does, this is what it triggers in me, and then they do it again, and then again,
Yeah.
and then again, and then again,
Right.
like, hello. At that point, I am the problem because I'm still showing up to the circus,
Exactly. Exactly.
knowing that this person's a clown.
Um, it's funny. I never realized that there was a protocol to, asking forgiveness and giving,
Yeah.
forgiving someone. And the protocol is, you admit what you did was hurtful.
Yes.
You ask, how can I make it right? Or,
Right.
um,
Apologize.
you
Take
well,
accountability.
you then apologize. Well, it doesn't have to be like in that
Uh-uh.
order, but apologize. But
Those 5
step,
things need to be there.
but the step that's as important or null and voids everything is assure you won't do it again.
Uh-huh. Yep. Those 5 steps
Ask for forgiveness,
every
forgive
time.
yourself. Yeah. But that number 4 out of the 6 steps, I think people need to really, kind of sink into that and understand that apologies don't matter if you keep doing it.
Right.
Um,
But have you also heard that was weaponized against me many times? Where that's why I didn't bother apologizing or addressing it because you're not going to believe it. It mean I'm sorry means nothing to you.
okay, well,
No, no, no. I'm sorry means nothing when you haven't acknowledged what it was, why that was hurtful,
uh
and all the other
and
steps
how
that
to
go
fix
with
it,
it.
and
Right.
yeah,
What and then where's the reparations? Like what have you done
right,
to make it right?
yeah. Before you could even do step number 5,
Right.
apologize. You need to do 1 through 4.
Right.
Like, yeah,
And all of it needs to be communicated.
yeah,
So if there's the shutdown and I'm going to go hide in a different room
yeah,
or ghost you or not call you back or
yeah,
any of it or just pretend like none of this happened the next time I see you a week later.
yeah. You want to make everything worse? Stonewall. Do that.
So,
Stonewall and ghost. Yeah,
and these are the things that I love that the younger generation now they go to therapy, they embrace therapy and they're
yeah,
learning these skills, right?
yeah.
It's changing the narrative that you go to therapy because something's wrong. Now they're going to therapy to be the best that they can be, to
Yes.
learn these skills. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And then that, like I said, that's my children are my contribution to this world. Like I want to make sure I've done everything that I can to teach them all these things so they have the tools to show up as healthy human beings
That's beautiful.
and be the young men that we need.
You've contributed well to this world. You've done a good job.
But that pressure to do that
Yeah.
intensified so much more when I became a mom.
Yeah.
And then again, the watching the children watching me go through this, right?
Yeah.
To me, then to be able to that cognitive dissonance, right? Of I don't want them to think that this is love or this is healthy relationships.
Right.
But then I also don't want them to feel abandoned because I'm going to take this life altering choice because this is an unhealthy way to live.
Right. Yeah. You kind of have to weigh short term and long term, which is less damaging,
Right.
which is going to have a better payoff in the long run
Right.
and will hopefully not affect them too negatively,
Right.
or at least, try to optimize,
Right.
the positives while you're kind of moving
Right.
through that situation. It's
Right.
tough. It's a tough balance.
And I'm fortunate in no matter what life struggles I've been through afterwards, um, they are so much better. They're happier and
Yeah.
healthier and they communicate freely. There's a carefreeness in my eldest that I haven't seen in at least a decade,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's beautiful to see that. And then our relationship is very
So you're seeing it
much
now,
like this.
just to be
Yes,
clear? Okay.
it's very much
Nice.
like my conversations here, where it's open, it's honest.
Wow.
My partner now, he's like, sometimes they bring up topics and he's like, what is happening? Why are they talking about this out loud to a woman? Like masturbation
Oh.
or sex or STDs or whatever, right? Or they can process through things out loud that
Mm.
I was never allowed to do.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like now I'll just go to my dad's house and be like, oh my God, my period. And my dad's like, why are we doing this? And I do it on purpose. Because I'm like, you will be comfortable with this. You have 5 daughters you've adopted, or 4 daughters, right? Like
Wow.
you will get over this. So like
Right.
I force all of that onto him now, and I have been for years. It's hilarious because I need my children to also see
Yes.
that men can talk about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not you, period, hide your tampon, right?
Right.
Or whatever.
No, I think that's good. I think it's good that you're sort of subjecting them to what life is
Right.
with a woman, because
Right.
ultimately they could end up with a woman and they need to know these things,
They
and
do.
her not feel shame
And not even
around
that.
getting a period
It's
or
the other half of the population.
right. Yeah.
Right.
Understanding
That this
51%
is,
of the population.
thank you. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Just know that these.
Yeah. I wear shoes and tampons. Yeah.
There you go. So all these things, again, I've had to consciously figure out how I want to grow and help them develop, but indirectly that's done so much for my own development and identity as a woman and a mom. Right? To where, yes, for the longest time, they were being the mother of these 2 boys was my prominent identity, and I didn't have anything else.
So remember I said I wasn't on Instagram? Well, I apparently had to start one with some moms group like a long time ago. I didn't want to use my name. I didn't trust anyone, I didn't, so I just wanted to, kind of put it out there for that one group. I'll say the name, and I still got it popped up. It's something along the lines of somebody's mother. That's all I put. I'm like, well, I'm his
Because
mother,
isn't
but
that how it is? Though?
yeah, but it was for a
Like,
mom's group. I didn't want anyone to know who I was, and I figured that's what I do now. That's my thing, is mom.
And then also, and this is controversial, but when they were old enough for me to, chase after the things that I love, like dancing, like salsa dancing, I force them to go with me sometimes. They do know how to dance.
Nice.
They will deny it. They've done Bollywood dances with me. They've done, waltz with me.
Sometimes you do have to force them for their own good.
Yes.
That will work out for them. Yes.
And they're the most introverted little humans ever. Like their mommy. They don't, they have a very small allowance for social engagement, especially one where they're like, I'm embarrassed out of my mind. This woman, right? But along with and I also enjoyed this, and this, and this.
Right.
Making time, you can do that as your children start to get older. I also had to start embracing, I'm a woman, not just your mom. Right? To be desired, to be desirable, to be sexy, that they can see that a woman cannot just be the homemaker and the mother, but that they can be someone who's strong, who's formidable, who's powerful, who is an entrepreneur, who can go get whatever handyman shit done too, because I do that, whatever. But then also I needed to make sure that they knew that mothers get to be women, feminine women, right? Where I get to dress up and feel sexy and be desired and do all those things and let them deal with the consequences of what the fuck.
Why are they looking at her like that? That's gross.
Because again, going back to what we started this conversation with, it's being so difficult to sit and accept a compliment.
Yeah.
Embracing that part of womanhood was also very, very difficult, especially after becoming a mom, because even now I am coached by my society, by my culture and my parents. Remember, you're a mom. Watch what you wear. Watch what you do. Who would you go dancing with? like I'm like, it's a class, it's a dance class. It's stop. I'm not clubbing.
Yeah. All I'm hearing is shame, shame, shame.
Constant, right?
Yeah.
And it's not. It's very loud in my culture, but I don't think it's just my culture. I think
No.
it's a plight of just being a
Yeah.
woman.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. There are these societal expectations that people will push on you. Oh, moms don't do that. Oh, they don't
Right.
wear. They don't go. They don't do. They don't. I
You don't get to
remember.
exist.
I remember when I was working um, when I think the kids were like 8, no, 7 and 5. I think Sophie was in kindergarten or first grade. I one of the two. I had been doing some contract work, and so I was home for the most part, but maybe 1 or 2 days a week I'd go into the office. And she came home with a C, and I was told by someone, well, if you stayed home,
Mm.
maybe you're
Mm. Mm.
misprioritizing. Yeah,
Mm.
so
Mm-hmm.
that.
That's a whole nother. That is a whole
Right,
nother
if you
episode.
had, yeah.
Mm.
So
Mm. I will
I,
not.
yeah, so that changed my perspective
Yeah.
of my interaction with that person.
Good.
Uh,
Because so many people would just absorb that and say, you're right.
no, I, yeah, I did not go
Oh,
there. I knew immediately what that was. That was
shame.
manipulation,
And
using
shame.
shame to
Yes.
manipulate to
Oh,
try to change what I
oh,
was
this was
doing.
a person, a man.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh,
I don't
I
know.
thought for a moment there, I thought it was a female, but then, oh, girl, please, yes, again, a whole nother episode
Yeah.
of all of that.
Thankfully, I was smart enough to know what that was.
I didn't.
Well,
I
I was
didn't.
I was older. I was an old mom.
But again, it took a long time to realize that that was manipulation, picking at my childhood wounds
Yeah.
to control me and my ability to earn an income.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that at the time because I fed into it. I was like, I can never let my children feel the way I felt,
Again,
that they don't have a mother.
that is another episode.
That's a whole nother episode.
Especially like once you're at the point of making money,
Yes.
how how difficult sometimes the
Yeah.
marriage,
Yeah.
a marriage can get.
Right.
Because all of a sudden you don't need to be there at that point.
Right.
It's, yeah.
Right.
So another day.
Another day. Another day.
Ah,
Yeah. No. Thank you.
oh,
Thank you
absolutely.
for
No, thank you
all of
for
your
having me.
and thank you guys
Like,
for watching and again indulging me and these topics and our perspectives. As always, if it doesn't apply to you and if you don't like it, that's okay. That's okay. Move on. Just
I was
keep
going
it
to say,
moving.
those people
There's
probably
plenty
aren't
of
even
people.
watching now. I'm sure everyone, there's something, little nugget in there for everyone at this point.
And even then, you know what? Just if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you, and that's
Right.
okay. Fine, you'll find someone else who does.
Right.
But this is from our lives, our experiences, our perspectives,
Yeah.
and our expertise.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching. See you
Thank
next
you.
time. Good job.
Thanks.
Oh, that was fun.
Ah.